It's your boy Omega. I'm here rocking with NahmTalmBout with two of the baddest brothers in the podcast business. We're gonna talk about everything from Black Panther to Brittany Griner to shit. We might even talk about you. Stay tuned.
Why WNBA need to be more like WWE. Like before everybody comes to the game, this motherfucker, the camera follow them in the back and they start some drama shit, get the slap boxing in the back, and then they walk out to the game and like you said, everybody's like, and then the camera pans in and shit, and you catch all the walking through motherfucking.
Well, they don't market the WNBA for women, man. If we want to be honest, you know, they don't market it for women. They market it for men, but men don't watch women play basketball. So if they wanted women to watch the WNBA, they'd have to do exactly like y'all saying. They'd have to do like a reality TV series based around it. So we see all the little, exactly, all the lesbian relationships, all the other craziness, you know what I'm saying? Stuff so they could be involved in the drama, and the sports is like secondary. Yeah. You remember what's the show with you remember like the game? You remember the game, right? Yeah. Men watch the game just as much as women watch the game because
and you saw like that much football in that,
but it was enough. It was enough for us to be like, we could play it off like we was watching a dude show. Like, man, the show about football, dog. But, you know,
ain't no football being played.
We pulled up like, yeah, but okay, fuck it, ain't no football, but this is better.
It's not
in this episode. Ain't no football half the season, but they marketed that show well, so people would not be embarrassed to watch it. Like, prime example, it was like what 2-3 weeks ago. Everybody was talking about Brittany. But it was the WNBA playoffs, and they had dismal, like, ratings. Ratings. Mm-hmm. So how y'all so hype about this woman, but y'all not even supporting what made her who she is in the first place? It'd be bullshit to me.
What do you mean? Because the players themselves, they go over and beyond when it comes to supporting all type of causes and stuff. Like they're on all the front lines. Like,
I'm talking about women in general, not the athletes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm talking about women in general. You know, I mean, but if you heard, the WNBA actually told all the athletes to keep this quiet at first because they didn't want to turn it into what it's become now.
Yeah. So do you think that was the wrong? You think that was the wrong decision to make at the time? What are you saying?
No, I think keeping it quiet was the smartest thing to do. But just like, you know, everything in this country, everybody has to have a cause, even if they don't really care about the bullshit. They got to sign on to what everybody else is signed on to. You know what I mean? I had people, you know, people be arguing about stuff. They be like, oh yeah, she was only caught with a little bit of weed. I said, yeah, you know, but it wasn't weed, it was oil, and those are different laws. Then they'd be like, oh, so it doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because even in the States, there are different laws between flour and cannabis oil. So how is it you expect a place where they don't even have the same environment we do? Russia is no tolerance. It ain't half legal. It ain't recreational. They don't tolerate weed in Russia, period.
Yeah. Mostly abroad, they don't. You know what I mean? That's our arrogance. That's our...
Yeah, I was looking it up the other day, man. Less than 5% of people in that part of Europe even smoke weed. You know, because it's so the culture is so against it.
And that 5% like Amsterdam and shit.
Yeah, it ain't like everybody think Europe like Amsterdam. You know what I'm saying? But that's like Amsterdam is what it is.
That's that 5% you was talking about. That less than 5% is Amsterdam.
So back to the oil situation. So you saying here, that crime will be treated differently also, correct?
Yeah, in Virginia, like right now in Virginia, like if you get caught with a vape pen, it's like it's like crack versus cocaine.
Concentration of the shit.
So I mean, because a lot of times niggas' argument was, I mean, she got caught in the States, it would have been this, but it actually wouldn't. It would have been a 9, or it would have been all this, but it actually would have been more than what we think it was with weed.
I mean, you got to look at it like this: America, man, you got Kenny Rod, what's his name? Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg, Seth Rogen. We've got actual pothead stars. You see what I'm saying? People who smoke weed, and we know they smoke weed, and it's part of their character. That's our culture. That's not Russia, though. You see what I'm saying? That's not Russia. So, and then you got people really literally saying, we got somebody, Russia played us like a fiddle, man. You got people saying, well, you know what? They want to trade her for one of the world's biggest arm dealers.
The Merchant of Death.
His name is the Merchant of Death.
That's his moniker. Like, I didn't make that up. That's actually his moniker. That's what they call him, the Merchant of Death.
That's the Merchant of Death. And the
WNBA wouldn't even make that trade. I don't know why.
I don't care who. Listen, they wouldn't even make that trade for like military people, like even military people. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't have made that trade for. What the hell are we going to trade them for? A third class athlete.
Yeah.
Let's give it third class athlete. Are
like
you
the
crazy?
women's soccer team get more play than y'all. Like,
yeah.
Come on, bro.
I just think it's
not the downer or nothing, but just
that's the funny. That's I can say funny part, but that's the hard part about the conversation. Like, well, I guess with our arrogance, we look at how little what she did is, and we're like, that's unfair. She needs to come back home, and not understanding like, but what happened and what's going on kind of outweighs all that.
Every real pot smoker knows I'm gonna have to find it where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? All right, you're going to Russia, it's not prevalent.
But at the same time, you're dealing with a person who isn't like any other pothead, and they've been doing this on the regular. Me being devil's advocate. She's been dealing with this. She's been taking that smoke just in the third with her back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's not the argument.
She said that?
Yeah, she uses for pain.
She's a Russian citizen, man. She's a citizen in this country.
For pain. It's just by the fact that we're going to use her this time. It's simple as that. If she didn't do anything different than she usually would have did, is it the fact that during this climate,
wartime,
we're going to do that. Yeah, so it don't really go. So usually I understand you with the whole, I get it where I'm going type shit. But if you're at that level where you don't have to, because like people that fly private, they don't have those fucking problems. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I guess that's another whole argument. But I think that's the funny part of the argument is the fact that you're not saying we don't want her back here. We're just saying, actually, like, I don't think that was a good play. We're talking about.
But see, that's the arrogance. I think that's what you're trying to point out, the arrogance in being American, that we have the audacity. A country just 2 months ago, we were shitting on them, yo. We was like, fuck Russia. Ukraine, go Ukraine. We were just talking big shit. And now you have the audacity to be like, oh, well, yeah, she broke y'all laws. And yeah, y'all granted her citizenship. And yeah, y'all pay her $1 million to do what we don't even pay her the money to do.
I didn't even think about that part.
America don't even pay her the same amount of money to do that.
Nah, I knew that part. I'm talking about the fact. I heard you when you said it earlier that she's a citizen. I didn't think about the fact that, yes, she's a fucking citizen.
She's a Russian
citizen. So you're
citizen.
a Russian that committed this crime.
You're a Russian. Exactly. You are according to them, you're a Russian that committed this crime. And we got the nerve to be like, yeah, well, you know what? Bring her back. And I hate to do this because I know this is going to come off, if I wasn't a black male, the way this would sound would be weird. But she's only being treated this way because she's a minority in several categories. Wow. And we've become this bleeding heart group of people that cannot look at things subjectively and objectively. And I ain't saying it because she black. It ain't because she black. That's the last.
Yeah, that's the last total other shit.
Damn, because she black. There's like two
black.
other ones. There's two other ones that transcend her blackness. She's a woman, and she's a member of the Alphabet Mafia. You have to be cautious with dealing with them because we're dealing with a country right now that wants to make everything villainous when it comes to them. And y'all both follow me on social media. I say what the hell I want. I don't care what people think.
So don't hold your tongue down, nigga.
No, that's why we invite you.
They got to be the most privileged minority I've ever seen in my life. They got to be the most
alphabet.
privileged minority I've ever seen in my life. It's to the point where, you like with the Dave Chappelle thing, Black people go through real minority problems, right?
Yeah.
We talking about death, housing discrimination, education discrimination, job disparity, and these niggas is mad about Dave Chappelle cracking a joke. We, at the very least, we wish all we had to deal with was jokes.
It was jokes, because I could fire back.
I wish all we had to deal with was a couple little punchlines, and we would be all right. If all somebody said was, "Hey man, you know why we had y'all pick cotton? Because it's the fabric of our life," and we that's it. And that was it. That's all we had to deal with. And it wasn't like 5 to 6 Black people getting shot a week by police. Yeah. That would be okay. I would want to be that kind of minority, but we're not, you know. So I just find it amusing. And America is I actually think America is doing the wrong thing. We're showing we have too many weaknesses just in our thought process and our mindset alone.
Yeah.
Too sensitive.
Yeah. And celebrities are way too important.
Yeah, I was about to say God, but I don't want to say it, but
yeah, they're placed way higher than they should.
She's not important here. Let's keep it a buck. No, that's bullshit. She's in the grand scheme of things, when you think about it, she's not that freaking important here.
She wasn't until this shit happened.
Till recently.
Until this shit happened.
You know, it's like, we beefing with that block over there, you know what I'm saying? They beat up the nigga we beat up on. And
they live on their block.
It only matters because they did it. We beat up on him every day.
Yeah. We beat up on him because he live over there too.
Y'all beat this nigga up every day, but now y'all want to go to war with them because they did it too. Come on, man.
Nah, y'all got him first and shit, took the money out of his pocket. Now we can't get it.
Now we can't rob him. You know
what I'm saying? You taking out my mouth now.
So she come back after the views going up?
Nah, probably for like the first 2 games. When she come back, you know what I'm saying?
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We forget very fast. She come back, they're gonna be on the next 2 games, even though she probably won't play the first season because they're gonna be like, she needed. Huh?
If she serves her whole sentence, she is not gonna come back in no physical shape to be no.
Okay, that was the question that I had. So we are swapping prisoners, not citizens, correct? Like they coming back to do jail time over here.
If they trade,
he's going over there, correct?
They worse than I thought.
Like he's going over there to go to jail, right?
Fuck no, they're going over there to
go
back to work.
They're not. He's not a criminal according to them.
So she's coming back over here to play ball, correct?
Most likely.
But that's what I'm saying. We've never seen this before. Normally, when countries do this, they're trading spies. So it's like, okay, there was some value to us. You were spying for us, so we're trying to get you out of being caught for spying for us. That's what makes this so different. She's not a freaking spy.
But they want a spy in return.
They want a spy in return.
In return and shit.
And these assholes go on social media like.
So can she hoop next year?
Where in the prison league out there?
No,
yeah.
You're not coming, bro. Look, I don't even know if Russia do it like.
So how's the swap working?
Like half your time.
So how's the swap working?
What do you mean? If they swap?
Y'all don't think the swap's going to happen?
I think if Joe Biden makes that swap, he opens America up for a bunch of bullshit on a scale that exists beyond. Yeah, because people don't be thinking. People don't be thinking. I had this argument with this white dude. You know, these old white folks, everything is liberty. They're all patriots until it comes time for them to really shoot some shit. Then they want to hide behind other people. Everybody else go die for them. That's what America does. Everybody else go die for what they say is important.
Always been the American way.
And that's the American way. So ultimately, Joe Biden should not make that deal because the collateral damage that you are so behooving to your citizens.
To your celebrities.
No. It's the reason why I say the citizens is because in the grand scheme of things, politicians and world leaders, they all know this is a terrible deal. Anybody involved in politics should know this is a terrible deal. So politicians aren't the one calling for this. It's the American citizens who have no concept of what the world stage truly is about. So you're so beholden to your citizens that you're willing to make would be a major faux pas in global political, it's like a global political chess game. You're willing to make this grand faux pas, and Russia is at war. Putin is out there swinging his junk, t-shirt off, thug life. He playing Pac. He been playing Pac all year round. And this is the move you make. It's stupid. It would make him even more of a terrible president that he is right now. I think he's a terrible president. He's even more terrible than he is now. And it's just the wrong thing to do. Just the wrong thing to do. You got Nancy Pelosi out there about to start world wars. We got to go show the Navy off because she doing crazy. Listen, man, I don't know what's going on with this administration, man. I don't know. Well, it ain't no better than Trump.
When I didn't care about this shit, I wasn't paying attention to it.
Once your eyes are open, you can never close them. And it sucks. Because you be like, this some bullshit. That's some bullshit too. This don't make sense. This don't make sense. It's a bunch of motherfuckers in charge, and the people in charge of everything are fucking idiots. Oh, they are fucking idiots. Rich idiots.
You know how hard it is to be so woke, man. I've been woke since middle school. Rambo, you don't know me since I've been woke since I was a child. So add the old man maturity to things, and the world pisses me off as a whole. I'm always angry.
Yeah, and everybody though, even in ourselves. Because I don't understand why we don't understand what's going on, bro. Like I don't, man. Hey, fuck it, dog. Yeah, we back up in this bitch. This is Now I'm Talking About. I am all got it all.
Mr. QB.
We got a returning guest. You can say your name.
Name's Omega. Right. But you can call me Delmar. Please, feel free.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, I bite my tongue a lot in this show. So Delmar's here. What are we talking about? Fuck it. So we talked a little bit about WNBA, which led us to Brittany Griner. I wanted a little peaceful or joyful segue before we jump into this Black Panther convo. But if we ain't got none, we could jump right into it. I don't know. What's been going on this week? Like, I don't know.
Just Brittany been in the news. Oh, Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian broke up. Surprise. Yeah. What a shocker.
Because she said he too immature.
No, she didn't say that. That could have been a reason.
That's why they broke up.
Are you serious? Yeah. That's the reason?
Surprise.
You didn't know that?
Immature.
You didn't fucking know that?
What do you mean? This the dude that made infant sucking penis joke, and she thought she's still immature.
You know what I'm saying?
It took you 9 months, bitch, and you just figured this out.
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
fucking foolishness. Kanye somewhere in all black, sweating, smiling like a motherfucker.
And that mask and shit in the house playing his music loud.
Even in the same outfit.
What's that joke that he got? Yeah, all to kick Pete Davidson's ass.
Yeah.
Childish though.
Like you got that motherfucker.
I'm an SNL fan. I know that.
You got that motherfucker from childishness.
Yeah, but I don't even think that was a real relationship to begin with. I don't think it was a real relationship to begin with.
She just
come
Pete must have been on his way up. You know, there are I don't want to say Greek mythology, Viking mythology. I forgot where it's at. Succubus, right?
Yes.
Their entire family is succubus.
Succubus. That is a Greek thing. It's a Greek thing. You're right.
Suck the life out of men in comic lore. I mean, I don't even want to misquote. So in mythology, in some religion, well, I mean some faith, there's these creatures called succubus, and they are female characters that would always. Like they lure men in, like a siren. They lure men in to suck the life out of them. You know what I'm saying? And that's who the Kardashian chicks are. Because every man that ever touches them, they suck the life out of them. You know what I'm saying?
I believe they're witches for real.
Yes, succubus.
To your point.
Closer to succubus than witch.
Yeah.
They not. You know what I'm saying? You ain't seen no magic from them. They just been sucking the life out of every dude they touch.
Well, there's some ignorant niggas watching this show like, man, she gonna suck the life out of me. I'm down with that shit, nigga. Shit, man, suck the life out of me.
If I ain't making quote, I probably would have said that part too. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. Like, hey, they sucking the life out of stuff. I'll be next.
I can see why niggas be folding. You know what I'm saying?
Niggas be saying the dumbest shit.
Right. Look, they could have been the monster, the aliens in Space Jam, because They touch your balls and it's over.
Oh man,
Like,
that was
whoa.
a good one. Write that down. That was a bar.
They got there. Because they got Blake Griffin, Chris Humphrey, goddamn, who the other cat? One of these little light-skinned niggas they got,
They got
Tristan Clarkson. He ain't been able to ball since he got with him. I'm trying to tell you. The Kardashians suck the. They take your game
The
from you.
life out of dude. What was Kim's first one? The little black dude, fake little Reggie Bush. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, it
Not
was
Ray J. The other football.
I guess she got Reggie Bush
football.
Was that one of Reggie Bush? It was Reggie Bush.
She got
It was Reggie Bush.
Ray J is the reason why she
Reggie
famous
Bush.
for the video and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Ray J
It was
bought
Reggie Bush.
Cam. You know what I'm
She
saying?
messed Reggie Bush up so bad.
He been able to sing.
She sucked the life out that nigga.
Yeah, he messed Reggie Bush up so bad. He ran away from
Kanye
her.
lost his motherfucking mind. She sucked the life out that.
Okay, wait,
She
hold on now. We are not gonna blame. We're not gonna blame Kim for Kanye's craziness. He was crazy before he met that bitch. Let's say we have to be honest in ourselves. You know.
Okay.
You know, Reggie Bush so messed up. He ran away from Kim into a bitch that looked just like her. His wife looked just like her.
Kanye making joints that look like Kanye like created himself. Oh, put this on.
The first 2 or 3 jokes he got will look just like him. Bro.
Put this on.
I think those women are lab grown because they came out of nowhere and they've disappeared since then. Like we seen them pop out. It was like a robot model.
Oh, Kanye got a new one.
He said, "We testing this out now." Illuminati man.
They're not famous no more. They
used to him for a come up and they disappear like that. Nigga, they won't real.
Because they weren't real.
Taught him how to suck the life out of him.
Oh man.
Man, that sucked the life out of me. Shit, I love it.
They sucking the life out of everybody. Look what they did to OJ.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he probably saved years.
That's the Genesis.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, the mama was involved in that too. They said the mama was a Hall of Fame pro baller back in the day.
Chloe's 6'5". She the only one.
Baller?
Yeah, baller. She was sucking the life out of niggas. We just gonna
Chloe
break.
like 6'5". You know, she the tallest, and that's OJ daughter. She the oldest and the tallest, the biggest. She looked like a linebacker. That's OJ daughter, right?
She got a blockhead just like OJ.
You know what I'm saying? She can do all surgery to maintain to look like them as much as possible. That's why everybody let's all how that be. Let's all get surgery so we can all look that thing.
They can't move their mouth about sound like that.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that's all, man. But
oh my God.
I did see this might dampen the mood a little bit. You know the Earth is actually spinning like 0.40 of a second faster.
I heard about that.
You heard about that?
We're gonna fly ball off this motherfucker soon. I heard about it.
Yeah.
There was a
I
NASA.
think that's why everybody balanced. That's why everything's weird right now.
There was a NASA dude that chained himself to a Chase bank somewhere.
I seen that too. They talk about the world going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we just ain't paying attention to the real shit.
Nope.
I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what fucked my head up the other day? And I'm convinced it's bullshit. A nigga told me Chick-fil-A always been spelled with a K at the end. I don't believe that. I don't remember seeing this ever in my life.
At the end of chick or at the end of
chick? They said there was a K always at the end of it. To me, it's always been CHIC-FILA.
But wouldn't that be sheep fillet?
That's what I thought. Because I thought that's the whole point.
I thought it was the luxury joint. That shit is chic though. But then that shit, you got the chic chicken in it.
So that'd be the luxury fast food restaurant the whole time.
But I thought that was the whole reason them spelling it different was to play off the word. Don't play with me. Y'all don't laugh at me. I had not seen no K in no years.
Nigga, you ever get mad at me because I say chicken fillet. So I mean, fuck.
It's chick. It was chick. CHIC. You will not convince me any different.
Yeah.
You think so? You think so? But you can't say for certain. How do you spell McDonald's?
Like McDonald's.
Like capital M, capital M, little C,
exactly. See, we know, everybody agree with that. Burger King, we know that for sure. Wendy's, it's always been a little white girl with red hair, pink hair.
Dave Thomas.
Exactly. You see how none of us disagree with this?
Right. How
is it there's one? And it's the only one that ain't open on Sunday. I'm not saying the devil is involved. But it sounds devilish.
Yeah, I mean, cognitive dissonance. Ain't that what that's called?
That's what they say. I think, you know, it happened a week after that whole CERN collider bullshit. They opened that motherfucker up again. And I had a whole post on my page. At least 50 people responded. Over 70% of them don't remember it being spelled with no K. So I know I ain't crazy.
What's it being spelled with now? The C or the K?
So it's no K in there
It's
now?
being spelled with a K. I
Yeah,
thought it was
that looks
just
weird.
C-H-I-C.
Yeah, in my head, that looks weird. Just that K don't look right.
Exact. See,
That's true.
even if you picture it,
I don't think
you
I remember seeing
picture it.
no
You
K.
like, hold up, that don't look like it belongs there.
Yeah, I don't remember something
Because
tall.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, why is it too tall for the side? That's cool.
Last week on NahmTalmBout.
It was a convo that my wife asked me about as far as parents raising boys and girls differently. So
Yeah.
I didn't see your attachment or anything. All right, we had a little bit of it. A generation of people who raise boys incorrectly got you believing that raising boys is easier than raising girls. Let that sink in for a moment. Of course, it's easier. Your daughter had to wait until she was 17 to date. Your son had him a little girlfriend in grade school. You built chastity, discernment, and self-respect into your daughter. You threw a jersey on your boy and taught him how to dribble and throw a ball. Boys aren't easy. You just invest less in their personal growth and maturity. That's it. I ain't gonna. That's it. We can go off that. Any thoughts on that? I see your face, dude. Good gracious.
I'm saying I don't.
And one thing about white America, right? I've learned this in my life. The most racist will recognize your dollar.
Mm-hmm.
When it's powerful, right? Not when you spend it frivolously, but when you use it like they do.
Not
Prime
when
example.
you spend it by yourself. Collectively.
Collectively.
But when you go blow your bread by yourself is when you get no respect.
It's a collective. How many times we see black celebrities talk about, oh, I went into the Gucci store and
they said they didn't know who I
They
was.
ain't give me no water.
Yeah, they treated me like
I didn't
shit.
get the champagne.
And black people still buy Gucci.
That's
Look
what I
at
mean
the
by
Jews.
energy, though. That's what I mean by energy.
But look at the Jews, right? The Asians, the Hispanics, the Latin communities. When somebody disrespect one of them, it don't matter if they Republican or gay or Catholic or whatever. They are all on one accord, and they're like, "Oh, word, that business did that. Okay, we not buying nothing for a year. We stick it to it. We're gonna make them change their policies." I think the problem with Black America is we understand that concept, but we don't have the patience and the global sense to view it as a community initiative. I remember when H&M, go ahead.
It's been beaten out of us. Like I said, I disagree with that. All just strength. It's been beaten out of us. Everybody that ever spoke for Black people, your Martins, your Malcolms, you know what I mean?
Of
you
course.
get knocked off. Like it's a way we're broken people. And every revolutionary has been beaten out of us. Marcus Garvey, it's all been beaten out of us. I think the fight.
You're right. And you are right. You are right.
I don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? That's why I would like to get a panel together, because I don't fucking know. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll be honest with you. A lot of people, I've given my opinion what I feel Black America should do. And some people think it's a great idea. Some people disagree with it. I think collectively, you have Africa and the Caribbeans, right? They are our root. Even if you feel we were naturalized Americans prior to the Mayflower and all this other stuff coming from those were still nautical, Navy, seafaring Africans, right? The Caribbeans and Africa, the root of natural resources, the things that make the global business, trade, and dollar work, from natural elements, diamonds, rubies, gold, all of that, to foods and things like that. The Black dollar. This conversation came from someone talking about reparations. Someone said to me, we should argue for reparations. And I said, to argue for reparations in a country that you are still considered a second-class citizen is a waste of time. It's a white bank that will distribute your money. It's white land you would still be buying. It's white-owned resources that you will be recycling this money through. So you're getting this money, but you're still being regulated by a white U.S. government. How could we circumvent that? The smartest thing I would say is, let's say I feel Black people as a whole, on a global sense, need to, because a lot of people don't realize how tied in it was, an actual plan of the U.S. and the European countries to divvy up Africa, divvy up the Caribbeans, and keep the Black Americans in this country in the dark as to what they were doing. It was a global plan. If we had a global case for how the decisions of European leaders and Western leaders were a complete plan against Black as a whole, we argue for global reparations. The French owe us, the English owe us, the Arab countries owe us, because those were the traders. Those were the people that was trading with the white people. It wasn't Africans trading with white people. It was the Arabs trading with white people. Everybody has benefited from trading, owning, and enslaving Black people. Global case for reparations. Reinvest this money into the Caribbean, so no colonial influence. Reinvest this money into Africa with no colonial influence, and designate land and ownership and building places for Black Americans to own land and space in these countries of your origin. It then returns anything of a Black homeland to a global power. Can you imagine billions and billions of dollars of reparations, plus the Black American dollar shifting from buying Gucci and Land Rovers and Range Rovers and $1 million homes and reinvesting into the motherland? It makes Africa competitive. You know why Black is disenfranchised? Because where you come from is disenfranchised. You know why Irish Americans could say, oh, I'm Irish with pride? Because Ireland is powerful. France is powerful. Germany, even with its dark history, is powerful. Someone will say to you with pride, I'm a German American. Then you ask a Black person, where are you from? Half of them don't want nothing to do with
Chicago.
Chicago, Brooklyn.
Man, they part of town proud. Their own shit.
Everywhere but where they from.
They Southside.
Yeah, Southside niggas don't own a motherfucking thing there.
Yeah, Southside did it though. But I mean, and this is what I'm talking about, the thought process.
That's Marcus Garvey like, right?
Yeah, if Africa was a global power, would you be ashamed to say, "Oh, I'm picking up my family and I'm taking my family out of the hood in Chicago and I'm moving them to Ghana"? You wouldn't, because your motherland is a place of power. The reason why Black America is still disenfranchised is because Haiti, Jamaica, Africa, these places are still disenfranchised and under colonial rule. And the only way for us to improve where we stand is, can you imagine? As soon as they start some bullshit with Black people, everybody said, you know what? Oh, we out this bitch. We up out this country. And we go on.
NBA,
yeah, enjoy your NBA without us, the NFL without us, the music without us, all of that. All the Beyoncés is coming with us. They're going back to Africa.
You gotta resource that shit from us.
You gotta resource that from us. The Hispanic people ain't going for it. They'll Hispanic people, they'll look at me like, oh, the Black people are gone. Oh, it's no longer cool here. And we
too far on the boat, huh? I can't swim there, man.
It's not cool here. Oh no, it's not cool here, man. It's just a bunch of white people, man. We out, Holmes. We out here, Holmes. You know. So, and I think long story short, back to what you were saying. To your point, Short, everything has been beaten out of us. A sense of idea, a sense of identity, a sense of rebellion. It's all been beaten out. A home. So here we are. You know, listen. You know, I got an African last name. I know where I'm from, but I live here. I've been treated like a nigga here. I've been treated, it's dead serious, because to a bigot, they don't even know my name. I'm Black. You see what I'm saying? I'm a nigga to them too. So, you know, I grew up here. I've never treated any different. I never felt like I was any different, because my experience as a Black man in this country isn't different from yours. And I think that's where we need to get back to. a sense of identity. There's too much intersectionality in the Black community, but we don't live in a place of privilege in which intersectionality is allowed. White people can be all that. White people can be Catholic and German American and Irish American. They can be all that.
All at once.
All at once, because the white supremacy power structure includes all that. They're in a space of comfort. So he can be gay and Catholic, and white people as a whole are not affected by it. Oh yeah, go be gay. You notice when white people do shit, white people always act like it's not a white problem. Because the power structure is so situated that it's always a lone shooter. Bitch, it's 25 of them this year. They're not alone. There's a lot of these niggas. There's not a lone thought process, but it's a lone shooter. Black people is black on black crime. We are not allowed the intersectionality, but because we exist in this space, Black people were originally taught for safety, you mimic what white people are doing. So we did it to ourselves. We mimicked the power structure that white people do. Then we developed colorism. Then we developed classism within ourselves, but we're not in a position where we can be colorist or classist amongst ourselves. There's enough white people to do that. They could have a group of millions of people that are poor and let them be poor and not give a shit because they have the structure. But we as a culture cannot allow too many of us to venture too far off because it does affect us as a whole. You see what I'm saying? So in order to make an impact, I think Black people need to use their dollar differently. But if you remember, what was it, H&M a couple years ago, they had a little Black boy, wearing a monkey shirt.
Monkey.
Right?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. The best monkey in class or some shit.
The best
monkey for like 3 months.
Yo, Black people was mad for 3 days. And then they went, and I remember, I seen my man buy something from H&M like a week later. And he was like, man, I said, what's up? What happened to the movement, brother? He said, oh yeah, man, they had a sale, nigga. What? I was still boycotting the NFL till last year. Even Colin Kaepernick stopped. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, he said, can I get a job? Oh, y'all sure y'all want to hire me? I ain't got money to him.
I was trying to get a job, and that's what I mean. There's so much intersectionality, which is part of the white thought process that initially it was done to get along to survive. But where we are now, we're still just surviving. The Black dollar hasn't changed in 30 to 40 years. You know what I'm saying? Black savings has not increased in 30 to 40 years. Black family, the marriages are going down. More Black children are being born or raised by single down. Everything is going down. And all I see on social media is I'm a boss and I'm a boss bitch. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not. You're a lash tech. And my nigga use a scammer. Use a scammer. You call it day trading, but use a scammer. You're just not a boss.
Yeah.
But we've convinced ourselves that individual success is enough, but it's not. You're still Black in America. They told LeBron a billionaire, ain't he?
Dark nigga, light nigga, rich nigga, poor nigga.
Nigga, you know what I'm saying? Some indiscriminate white woman who barely, we know she ain't get her job being on the news for having any special talent, had the nerve to tell this Black billionaire to shut up and dribble. Shut up and dribble. Knowing you was a succubus. Yeah, we had to bring it back. How you got your job was being a succubus.
You know what I'm saying?
This man had to be the peak of athleticism, and all you had to do was be a succubus to get your little 30-minute TV slot. And this is where we are. You know how white people are structured? Certain white people can't say certain shit to certain white people. You can't say a certain white person can't say something to Bill Gates or any of these white people. You're not allowed to. But those white people that are not allowed to say something to them can say to Beyonce, your husband was a drug dealer.
Meanwhile, her husband worked for fucking Zoloft and shit.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. And I feel like we're too hard on ourselves. And what's making it worse is they fed this gender war between black men and black women the last 5 years.
That
I
shit
seen
go
it
hard. That shit goes so fucking hard, bro. We be at each other's throat over any fucking
anything, bro.
Like anything, dog.
Anything,
It's
bro.
ridiculous.
So you mean to tell me the black relationship survived slavery, survived the civil rights era, survived the crack epidemic? Because our numbers didn't start to change to the late 90s. We survived all of that to now. Black men and black women just can't get along. You got black women on social media talking about, well, you know, I can't find a good black man at all. I'm gonna go find me a white man. And if you can't find a white man, you're gonna find a white woman. We that far gone?
Yes.
The plan has worked. Yeah, the plan has worked.
Took that long.
That
was the last step.
Shit, nah, it ain't the last step. Last step is extinction. And your brother say that shit all the time. We there. We right the fuck there. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why when people see, I don't dislike the alphabet mafia, right? People say they see my particular takes. I've got gay friends. I've got effeminate gay friends. I've got gay friends. No. Damn it, man, you got me. I do say like that one guy. I got a black neighbor. I'm not a racist. Let them peek over my face all the time. Okay. The reason why I'm saying that is to say this. I'm not against your individual lifestyle. I can't afford to be prejudiced. But what I can do is recognize when something is being used as a weapon directly to affect my community. So prime example, individually, I don't give a fuck if you snort coke or you take drugs. That's your personal choice. But if our community is being infiltrated by drugs overwhelmingly, I have the right to say, hey, this is a negative adaptation to our community. You got to look at all these black celebrities. First of all, we know black people. We don't play that. We don't play that kids get to make decisions when they're kids. We don't play that. A child stays in a child's place. I don't care where you're from. If you're from the South Side or you from South Africa, we all got the same upbringing. A child stays in a child's place. But if you've noticed over a couple of years, all these black celebrities, they're children. Boys want to be girls. Girls want to be boys. They got their kids cross-dressed. Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade got that little boy dressing like a girl, and then got him kissing a white boy that's now a white girl at a family event.
Yo, I'm so low. Hold on. He's straight?
See, you see how you did the math right there? Technically, he's straight.
Just a dude.
No. It's a girl. It's a
girl.
They want to be a dude?
It's a girl, just like he's a boy, but he dresses like a girl and she dresses like a boy. So yes, brother Umar Mo, he is straight.
And nigga double straight, nigga.
He's extra straight.
He too wrong, he too left making it right.
And he's a real nigga. And he's a real nigga because he's rich and he chose a white woman. So you know what's up. He's rich and he chose a white woman. That's about as real nigga rich as you can get. But this is what they've been showing us. And so here you go, all of a sudden everybody's like, you know, black people talking about, or just people in general talking about, oh, well, my 5-year-old is, no. You know, because children don't make adult decisions. I remember when I was a child, I wanted to be Michael Jackson. I woke up every day and I wanted to be Michael Jackson. I would dress like Michael Jackson. I would dance like Michael Jackson. I was too black.
Can you still? Can you still dance like Michael Jackson?
Oh, I can still, I still, you know what I'm saying? You know what, you got it, you know what I'm saying? I do. The moonwalk is still heavy, baby, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So imagine if it was now, some white psychologist would be on TV telling my mother, well, maybe your son is really Michael Jackson.
This nigga trans Michael?
He's trans Michael. So I'm trans Michael. So now my mom starts feeding me medicine that makes my voice high pitch. It makes my skin light skin,
pushing
my
your ass in that
hands, and stringy hair. You know what I'm saying? But that's the logic. I'm gonna be 10 years old, 11 years old, and realize
I look more like Sammy Sosa.
I don't want to talk like this for the rest of my life. You see what I'm saying?
I don't even like Michael Jackson anymore.
I don't want to be Michael Jackson anymore. Well, it's too late. You're a Michael.
Yeah,
You've made a permanent decision, and they're imprinting it in the black community because they've been teaching our black women you can't trust black men, so you can't trust black men. So what's your next choice? A woman or another kind of man? You know, they keep saying black men can't do this, black men can't provide, black men can't do this. You know what? It's the craziest thing. I really believe that black men were deadbeat dads. Why? Because we've been told that all our lives. We have been told all our lives, even though I was raised with a good father, even though I was surrounded by good black fathers. It wasn't until last year till I actually looked up the statistics and the true data, and I was like, damn, black men are great fathers. But how many people are going to do their due diligence to rework the brainwashing? We're not reworking the brainwashing. Prime example, what's the young lady that the police ran up in the house and they
Breonna Taylor?
Breonna Taylor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Listen to the irony in this. The police ran up in that man's apartment.
Her apartment.
It was hers. Was it hers or his?
It was her apartment.
They ran
Looking
up in
for
her
her boyfriend.
apartment looking for her ex-boyfriend, not even the one she used to deal, the
Right.
ex-boyfriend. The new one said, I don't know what's going on, but pop, pop, pop. The cops killed this woman. They try to lock him up. And black women created the hashtag protect black women. Sister, he did. That's why he's facing charges. He did. He literally loaded up and shot back. And they tried to lock him up for it. So why is your hashtag directed at the men of your community? It isn't.
Well, because she was the one that was killed.
Yeah, I don't think it was directed. Was it directed?
It was directed at black men, and I'm gonna tell you how with a narrative switch. It wasn't protect black women from white killer cops.
I mean, but at the same time, arrest the cops that killed Breonna came out at the same time, correct?
Right. And they just got arrested.
No,
they just got arrested by the feds.
We can stand the past. We can stand the past. But I mean, at the same time, that was the hashtag right behind it. Arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. So it was. I don't think that was directed at men.
I'm gonna tell you where the narrative changed. So you had your girl Megan Thee Stallion with this issue with Tory Lanez, where she kidnapped the hashtag.
Oh, okay.
She took the protect black women from killer white cops and attached it to her situation. So black men became the face of the oppressor when we had nothing to actually do with the original creation of said hashtag.
Devil's advocate.
Here we go. I knew it was coming.
At the same time, there are hella videos where niggas following women into their apartments. That deserves a protect black women directed at the black men who are in these videos. Is that not true?
I mean, so look at it like this. Are you gonna?
What you did?
I'll look at it like this. One thing I've noticed about black people when we discuss crime in our community, right? We discuss it as if crime is not based in human nature, as if we can actually dispel violence and criminal behavior and eradicate it out of our community. That's not realistic. It's not realistic. So to your point, right? Yes. Are there black men killing black women? Yes. Are there black men kidnapping black women? Yes. But when you look at the data, white men trump all of this. I have never seen.
Why do we do that though? I understand that, but why do we compare ourselves to something that we don't believe that we are the same as? Like, I don't understand how we say some arguments.
No.
We are human.
We live in America. even though we live in a different America, it's not an actual America with borders and different rules and regulations. We live in the same America. So when you look at the data statistics, when it comes to crime, white men lead in crimes against their women and against children. You don't see white women on TV and social media talk about protect us from white men.
They're not at war.
They're at war within each other. They're at war with each other.
That's not our plight. We're at war.
I didn't say it's our plight. I'm giving you a comparison scenario. I'm not saying it's applicable to us. I'm saying white men and white women are just as at war as black men and black women now. They are. It's not just black men and black women whose marriage rates have gone down. It's been a global thing.
No, I don't mean like at war in their own household. I mean like the black race is at war in America. So we need to act differently. We can't base our statistics on their statistics where we need, it should be, us protecting black women should be bar none what it is regardless. You don't fucking take on,
How do you do that?
You don't take advantage, I gotta do it, that was happening. You can't take advantage of just a black, I'm not saying, okay, don't rape the black woman, go rape somebody else. You will be a rapist type shit, but.
Well, okay, so this is what confuses me about this. Why are you asking the men committing the crime to protect black women? Do you know how many men? Yeah. Do you know how many men? I've read articles in the last 2 weeks alone of black men interceding in domestic disputes and dying. Dying. A brother just killed another brother the other day because his mama had cold fries.
Yeah, I heard that.
This is another thing that we don't talk about. Due to so many number of our children being raised by the women, our women either turn their sons into secondary husbands or secondary boyfriends or advance their need to be protectors. To the point where, and this is, I'm not trying to, when you're raised in a household full of women, right? Women are allowed to project their emotions differently. They are. As men, right? All of us are either married or close to married. You know that you cannot react to your wife the same way she reacts to you. You have to be the balancing emotion in your relationship. You know that to keep your household structured. When a household does not have a male emotional space that understands that, what happens is you create toxic masculinity because women, they're allowed to say whatever they want. If a woman wants to cuss her husband out, we know what comes with the territory. If they want to, women will argue with each other, cuss each other out, drag each other's secrets out. There are men who are raised in this environment. So pair that emotional outburst with an uncontrolled masculinity is what leads to all of these young men going into the community and shooting and killing people over petty stuff. Several articles I read this week of black men interceding in domestic disputes. A man hitting another woman. The woman will jump the man with the man who was beating her. So when I say protect black women, I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but we need to go back to what that actually looked like. And what that actually looked like existed in a family structure. You cannot ask for protection for a man that's not your husband.
And what you always say, you want to protect black women, you want to protect.
Yeah, you want to protect somebody.
She can't ask for protection if she's not willing to dedicate herself to the protector. Protection,
but it's like you said, it's about the balance. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's the energy. And I talk energies all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's the estrogen and the testosterone. That's the yin and the yang. The energy. It has to be a balance of that, or it will. Right. It will, like you said, it'll overwhelm, and then it'll have you in here with the majority of your energy going towards that estrogen side, you know what I'm saying? An emotional energy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas that testosterone is a physical energy. You can turn that into, you know what I'm saying, workout fuel, you know what I'm saying? And estrogen will grow you titties. It's an emotional thing. You know what I'm saying? It's an energy.
And then we end up with a whole that's why we got a community of niggas who want to be succubuses.
You know what I'm saying?
But anyway,
you know
but
what I mean?
you got to look at it, to your point. The black community, a lot of people don't want to say the truth is the black community is a matriarchy. We're led by our women. Look at, and I want you to think about it. You want big mama, your big mama, your sisters, right? All of us have been raised that these women come before us. Now, even though we live in a white society that is a patriarchy, internally in the community, we exist in a matriarchy. The black woman, even with a present man, how many times, see, white people, you watch the TV shows, what do they say? Wait till your father gets home. Well, no waiting until your father gets home. Your mama hands out the ass whoopings in the house.
It was, well, I'm about to say, it was your father will get you too. Or wait till your father get home and she whoop you as she's saying that.
As
like, I feel you I do feel you on the matriarch part, but at the same time, I feel there's a respect level that goes to Big Mama, but niggas know that daddy runs you. But even he know that he can't make the decision by himself.
You don't run shit when it comes to Big Mama.
But that also is another thing. That also is another thing from slavery that has been beaten into. You know what I'm saying? The buck breaking, all that shit. They didn't buck break women. I mean, they fucked them. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't go through the extent to make sure that you knew you were inferior too. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is ingrained in your DNA, generation after generation and generation. And the entire time, all that's happening, Big Mama is the one in the house taking care of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Because black people were disposable.
It's a slavery thing. All of our present day actions and the way we act presently, it all stems from the beating we took as slaves. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean the actual whipping. I mean the mental beating that we took as slaves exists to this day. And that's why you can't, that's why I hate when people are like, yo, just forget about it. You can't, because the shit is beaten into you. It's woven in your fabric. You see what I'm saying? The rug already made. That's what I said, bro. America is a house built on a graveyard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until we burn this bitch down, you know what I'm saying? This shit got to be burnt down, flooded over, and then rebuilt before we can even talk about being on some equal ground.
This is what I'm talking. See, this is what I'm talking about. When the point I was trying to make ultimately,
like Janice saying, but it's just dance music. The way we are interpreted, the people the music is not for, is that it's some homo type shit. It ain't Megan type shit. It ain't the whole dick sucking type shit. It's just we hear the word thought. We hear the word OnlyFans. And we automatically throw it in that category when it's actually not that. She's just talking about dancing. How when I go to the club, I'm getting this type of energy off. You say I'm shaking like I'm getting that type. But to us it just sounds like Megan. It sounds like old Kim, that type of shit. I mean, she's like when Kim was talking about, no, I'm fucking.
Yeah, I'm fucking.
Yeah, she just talking about I'm dancing.
But they used to say Kim used to get her stomach pumped regularly because she was getting skinny.
I don't know about the regular part, but yeah. I heard about this once or twice. That's regular.
Okay, I'm fucking regular. I'm fucking regular. Shit, I think one for the lifetime too much.
what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? But she got her ass whipped by Killmonger at the time.
But this is what I'm saying. Okay, so let's look at the process for Black Panther. Ain't no heart-shaped herb. You literally go into that little mountain space. The entire country is standing there watching, and they looking at you to see, yo, can you handle yourself with a stick? No special powers, no technology, no nothing.
So you saying they're gonna skip that whole step? Like you said, it's gonna happen?
She ain't gonna
fight
for the joint?
No, she's not. She would get her ass whooped. What have you seen? What have you seen from Shuri that says she could have stood on that mountain with M'Baku? Come on.
I'm trying. Look, I'm digging in my devil's advocate bag like shit.
I think that's unfair. And I'll tell you why. I think that's unfair because I feel like when it comes to any problem in the Black community, we have been so taught to fend for ourselves that our automatic response is, well, we should just do the shit ourselves. No, it's like prime example where they say, well, why can't we get the government to help clean up the black community? Well, why don't the black men do it? That's what we pay taxes for. Everywhere else in the country, everything else you're expecting from members of the community to do gets done with your tax dollars. So why is it when it comes to the black community, we're like, oh, well, the fact we pay taxes don't matter. The fact that we own property in this place don't matter. We need to do it ourselves. Why do we keep convincing ourselves that in spite of the bullshit, that we know we live in a structured society where they own the outlets? Why are we lying to ourselves and saying, well, we need to build an outlet on our own?